Welcome to our top takeaways from the MuleSoft Keynote from Dreamforce. The MuleSoft Keynote was create integrated customer 360 experiences. And what we did was look at the top takeaways and how you should respond. Just wanted to give a couple of housekeeping items. We are recording the session. If you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. We'll go ahead and check those in between each takeaway and make sure that you get your questions answered as well. If you want to, feel free to ask questions. Just come off of mute and we can answer your questions. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Rahul to go ahead and introduce himself and kind of get us started.
Thanks, Jackie, and welcome everybody. So I'm Rahul Pahuja. I'm a leader in our global MuleSoft practice here at Slalom. About 20 plus years experience in the systems integration space, mostly all of it in consulting. So at the moment, I focus on advising C-level and V-level stakeholders for our clients and helping them align technology strategy to the strategic business initiatives. And let's get started. So a little bit about Slalom. We're a modern consulting firm focused in three areas. We offer services across strategy, be it your business strategy across customer, product, organization. On the technology front, we have strong alliances with our partners. So we offer services on many different platforms such as Salesforce, MuleSoft, AWS, Azure, Snowflake, and many others. And then on the transformation side, obviously it involves a lot of change as you transform your business model. So we help with the adoption of that change across the organization or within business units. And we're proud to be the #3 partner for Salesforce in North America and #4 globally. We have 9,000 plus consultants across 40 of our markets globally. So let's get to the takeaways from the Dreamforce session. So my top takeaway from the session was that as customers look to build out their customer 360, that MuleSoft provides universal connectivity to power that initiative. And really what it comes down to is stitching together a customer 360 is a journey. And so you have to think about how you're going to respond to that. So if we go to the next slide, we can talk about that. So in terms of what actions you can take, right? As part of the journey, the first step would be really unlocking your backend systems, exposing those system APIs to help serve the data upwards into the organization for your lines of business to consume. So that's really the first action. And then the second one would be to help enable your line of businesses to drive consumption and really help democratize your data. The second takeaway that I had from the session was that as part of Customer 360, there's enhancing that customer experience. And that comes through a combination of the power of Slack and MuleSoft as two platforms that offer complementary functionalities to really enrich those experiences. And so in terms of actions with this takeaway is really embrace that digital headquarters strategy by integrating MuleSoft, the API-led application network, and then Slack powering that human network through collaboration. So it's all about, at the moment, there's swivel chairing between your business applications and email or your choice of collaboration software. Right, so to avoid that swivel chairing and include and drive that collaboration into your business applications, that's where Slack really comes in and helps power that collaboration and helps you enhance and enrich those customer-facing business processes. The third one, I really, this is related to the MuleSoft's latest acquisition of Service Trace. So one of the key missing pieces was that last mile integration of manual workflows. So if you take the example of, I don't know who saw the keynote session, but there was an example of a customer signing up with a wealth management advisor. and sending an email with an attached PDF. And there's many scenarios where either your advisor is out of office in meetings or on vacation. And even if they're in the office, they still have to manually key in from the PDF into your business application. So this is the scenario that we're talking about, which is actually very common when facing, which is a very common customer-facing scenario. So the actions over here are that you can look to implement robotic process automation to really automate that email ingest and directly feed that application into your business application for your customer onboarding as one scenario, and there's many others. So this helps eliminate those manual and repetitive steps, helps drive efficiencies and that enrich customer experience. And so it's really about using the combined power of RPA with MuleSoft for the universal connectivity into your business systems and other downstream systems. And then the fourth one, it's all about how do you provide those actionable insights and help drive process optimization, whether it's internal processes, for example, sales processes, or drive down cycle times for your customer service processes. So the actions that you can take here is that you really want to leverage real-time data as much as possible into your reporting and analytics and visualization layer. So that's where MuleSoft comes in with that API-led application network, providing real-time information from your business applications into your data lakes. And then you have your visualization layer on top of that. This helps you drive that cross-functional optimization, especially if you think about customer service processes, which really require data from many different platforms to understand the full customer view to provide that enriched, that rich customer service experience that everybody's looking for at the moment. And those were all of our takeaways through the session. Happy to take questions.
And hey, Rahul, it looks like in the Q&A, we do have a couple of questions. So maybe backing up to the first or second takeaway, someone asked about if you could elaborate a little bit more about how do you democratize data, or what does that really mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. So really what we're seeing out there, and it's been out there for a while, is that there's centralized IT that governs your major backend systems. For example, if you take SAP, ERP, and the many other modules that SAP provides, there's typically one centralized team, application team, who is helping implement on SAP. So the requests from the different business units keep stacking up on this one team, and there's a huge backlog, and there is capacity, and you're always building for each business request. So the key here is to enable your lines of businesses to access that data through an API-led approach. So what that offers is you enable your lines of businesses to start building APIs. And therefore now you have democratized data by providing that consumption of data to all your lines of businesses rather than be the bottleneck of one team serving all of these different requests. So it's all about driving that consumption of data and enabling your business teams to provide self-service.
Fantastic. And then someone else asked around, I think it was the third takeaway. Can you, I mean, obviously at Dreamforce, we heard a ton about Slack, but how does Slack and MuleSoft work together? Or do they work together? Like what is that partnering?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So if we think about what Slack offers, it's not just a chat software, right? It's actually collaboration, and it's your UI layer to take actions and collaborate. So let's just take a very simple sales cycle. There's an opportunity, and then you put in a quote, and that quote needs an approval from somebody up the chain. And you don't want to email your leadership that, hey, I have an action for you, please log into this system and then go approve this quote so that I can send that out to the customer. what you can do is automatically, when that quote is ready for approval, MuleSoft can help with the integration, trigger an event from your business application, such as Salesforce, Sales Cloud CRM, and send that opportunity into Slack through the integration, that in Slack, the quote gets presented to your VP for approval. All they need to do is look at all the data. So Slack has a widget, presents all the data, well formatted, and they can look at it and approve the quote, add their comments right within Slack. So they never even have to come back into Salesforce or log into Salesforce. They can take all the action in Slack. So the combination of MuleSoft and Slack, really what it does is it delivers data to you rather than you having to find data in your business application. And so it drives that efficiency and collaboration in a much smoother manner, and just it really minimizes or eliminates that swivel sharing between email and different business applications that goes on at the moment.
Fantastic. Someone else asked, what is a data lake, or like, what should we know about a data lake?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of the fundamental components of your overall reporting infrastructure. So data lake is a consolidated database on the cloud or database as a service, such as Snowflake, or even from AWS or Azure. And basically you aggregate data from all your different business applications. And then you do roll-ups and however you want to slice and dice that data, and then present it to your folks in the analytics team. So it's really the database that is cloud-based, which provides that aggregation of data from across the business systems landscape.
Okay, perfect. And one other question. Can you expand on the importance of an API-led architecture?
Yeah, absolutely. So the traditional approach is doing systems to systems integration, and really it's very technology focused, and it results in a lot of complexity and doesn't necessarily bring in the efficiencies of business and IT collaboration. An API-led approach provides multiple layers of abstraction and delivers that full API lifecycle, which drives a contract first, design first approach. So you empower the business to drive design, and that really helps with what I've seen is that there's misalignment, and during testing, you catch a lot of misrequirements. So when you're following this API-led approach with design first, you're allowing the business to get that early input and also get early validation through the mocking service that the MuleSoft platform offers, which is all part of the full API lifecycle. And then you have the multiple layers of abstraction, which is your system APIs that abstract and standardize access of data from your backend systems. So you don't have to, your line of business developers do not have to worry about understanding the complexity of your backend systems and the variety of flavors of your backend system. For example, you could have SAP, you could have Workday, and many others. So your line of business developers don't have to worry about those data models. It's served up in a standardized manner. Then you have your process APIs, which help aggregate or orchestrate across multiple systems for those more cross-functional and complex business use cases. And then you have your experience APIs, which really cater to presenting the data in a consumable manner for a particular channel or an experience or a user or persona in your front-end business system or system of engagement. Typically with the legacy approach of integration, all you're doing is moving data from the back end to the front end. And then the front end developers have to then write code to transform all of that data to make it consumable, which is highly inefficient because you're transporting data from the back end into the front end. Then you're having to write code to translate all that to make it consumable. With API-led approach and the multiple layers of abstraction of system, process, and experience, you're able to deliver that data in a consumable manner to your front-end users without having to write code in your engagement layer, such as Salesforce. So that's really the advantage. And it's pretty transformational.
Perfect. It looks like we have another question, like how do you suggest to get started with MuleSoft?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we partner very closely with our folks across on the MuleSoft side, and we help lay out enablement and training plans. And really, it's about first understanding what are the use cases that you're going to hit up first on the MuleSoft platform, and getting educated on the API-led approach and the benefits of the full API lifecycle. I would say that's the first step, and then coming up with sort of an organizational or operational model of what are the teams you need to put in place. Do you need to build a new API team that's going to help build APIs on MuleSoft? Who's going to maintain the run state for when you go to production? And then coming up with enablement and training plans specific to those roles. So it's a light shift. It's not this beast that most people feel intimidated with it. It's most of our customers have experienced go lives within 4 months, and they're up and running, and they've got their teams fully enabled to maintain MuleSoft as their enterprise integration platform.
Perfect. And Rahul, I think we have exhausted all of the questions. So maybe what we do, I don't know, like if there is a way to get in contact with you, or what, if anyone wants more information for Slalom, maybe what we can do is we'll send out an email with ways for folks to connect. We also can drop in a link here. We did look at a bunch of the Dreamforce sessions and kind of key takeaways across some of their different products like Slack and Commerce and Service. So we can make sure that you have that handy. But with that, I think, yeah, just thank you so much for joining, Rahul. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise. And please, if anyone has any additional questions, reach out. We're here to help. There's some really cool things that you can do with MuleSoft, and don't be scared. It can all happen within 4 months. So it's easily digestible. But thanks again.
Thank you.